What is good, Fin fans? It is your boy Dillon, and what am I here for? I am here for my Path to the Playoffs video. Um, obviously, we now have the entire Week 15 slate of games completed. Obviously, last night you had the Eagles and the Seahawks, which that didn't really matter to us because it was just an NFC showdown, but there was a surprise in that game, and the Seahawks did get the upset over the Eagles, which is fascinating because they are now 10-4 and they're in the 5th seed. But obviously, like I said, NFC stuff doesn't really matter to us until we play one of them in the Super Bowl. But yeah, anyway, so before we can get to the Super Bowl, though, we obviously have to get to the playoffs and win in the playoffs. So this video is all about our path to the playoffs. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Obviously, we're going to start with week 15 and we're going to give you the results. So just real quick. Let's see. Raiders beat the Chargers. Bengals beat the Vikings. That one was good. We wanted that to happen. This one didn't really matter to us. Although, the one interesting thing, we'll see what happens, but hopefully the Chargers, after having fired Brandon Staley in that absolute just drubbing, hopefully the Chargers will get a little bit of an interim head coach bump, and who knows, maybe it'll be enough to beat Buffalo this upcoming week. Anyway, I'm not getting my hopes up there, if I'm being completely honest. I think at this point, it's more likely that we're going to end up knocking them out of the playoffs in week 18 when we beat them. But anyway, this was favorable. This one could have gone either way, and it would have been fine, but the Colts winning is good. That also does keep them currently ahead of the Bills, right? That's the point of these two teams winning. We want them to stay ahead of the Bills in the playoff picture. Now, we also would have liked the Broncos to have won, but it was the Lions, not very easy. I think they'll win next week because I think their matchup is a lot easier, which we'll look at in a minute. Anyway, then you have the Dolphins taking care of business there. Obviously, we love to see it, and that was definitely needed. This was a good outcome for helping to keep the Bills out of the playoffs. Because like I said a few weeks ago, and it still remains true to this day, although it's a little less true now that they got their win over the Cowboys, the Bills did, which was disappointing for us. These teams, help keep them out of the playoffs, even if they potentially win out. There is still that possibility. But I think we're going to beat them in week 18, so they're not going to win out. And who knows? Look, I mean, the next two opponents are the Chargers and then the Patriots. Not very likely. I expect the Bills to get wins there. But you never know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this was good, though, and it does decrease their odds overall. This one doesn't matter. This one doesn't matter. This one doesn't matter. This one did matter. And the Jags should have fucking won this game. Let's just keep it real. They should have fucking won this game. But with all the ways that they shot themselves in the foot, just in the first half alone, 2 missed field goals, a fumble in the red zone, like within the 5, and then at the end of the half, whatever kind of fucking messy, fucking stupid decision bullshit went on there, bad clock management and so on and so forth, they didn't even get to kick a field goal, even though they were in chip shot field goal range at the end of the half because of some dumb shit where they threw a fucking pass on, with like 11 seconds left to go, but it wasn't in the end zone. It was inbounds behind the line of scrimmage, and dude didn't get out of bounds, so they just ran out of time. Just absolutely absurd. And I'm pretty sure the Ravens still only had 3 points at that point in the game or something like that. It's just fucking absurd. Or maybe they only had 10, but still, like, I don't know. They were fucking, and, Trevor Lawrence might not be in the game next week because apparently now he has a concussion on top of all the other injuries that he's dealing with. So they're probably going to fall off the map, but we'll see. Anyway, Buffalo, but the reason why obviously we wanted this one is because we wanted to be able to retake that number 1 seed, but it is what it is. This one doesn't matter to us, Neither does this one. We would have loved the Patriots to have gotten an upset over the Chiefs, although obviously it didn't happen. As long as we stay 1 game ahead of the Chiefs, it won't matter. Now, the downside is they will likely win out. So that means the Dolphins will also have to win out in order to stay ahead of them. So there's that. This was favorable though as well. In, you know, helping to keep the Patriots out of the playoffs. Because again, obviously we want all of the teams that are in the wild card to stay ahead of the Bills, right? All the teams in the playoffs, we just want to stay ahead of the Bills, basically, at this point. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to this next week. Let's take the Rams here. That one doesn't matter to us. So I think overall, at this point, when you look at it, hang on, let me also pull up the NFL playoff picture. Let's also pull up this really quick because the NFL playoff machine, it doesn't, one thing, I like the overall look and layout of it, right? And the way you can choose, like, all that's great. And I love that it'll also show you tiebreakers. The one thing that sucks is it doesn't actually show you, like, the in hunt. Or is, I guess, rather on the bubble teams. Anyway, the Bills are in 9th, and the Steelers are right behind them, one game behind now, since they lost this past week. So, honestly, considering the fact that the Bills are unlikely to lose to the Chargers and the Patriots, the Steelers are out of the equation now, most likely, as far as, you know, we could potentially want them to win to stay ahead of the Bills. Now, in a most ideal scenario, you would actually have the Steelers win, and where the fuck are they? There we go. The Bills lose to the the Bills lose to the Chargers. Okay? Now, the reason why that would be, you can't really see it here, but the reason why ultimately that's the most ideal situation is because that would then drop the Bills to 8-7, and then the Steelers would get to 7-7, or 8-7 as well, and I'm pretty sure, not 100%, but I'm pretty sure they would also have the tiebreakers. That would also mean that if the Bengals lost, they would be 8-7. For sure, they would have the tiebreaker because they would have the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Bills since they would have beat them. So the Bengals for sure would stay ahead of them. The Steelers would potentially jump back in front of them and have the Bills fall back to the 10th seed. The problem with that is that unfortunately, even though the Chargers are at home, even though they just fired their head coach and they may potentially have the interim head coach bump, they still have Herbert and guys like Evans and Eckler and Bosa and Mack on the other side, right? So they still have guys, and Derwin James. So they're still a good team, and it's possible. Look, maybe next week, maybe after this round of games, maybe this will play out. And then we can, go back into those situations. But the reality is unfortunately, it's very unlikely that the Chargers are going to beat the Bills. So let's say the Bills get the win. In that case, we actually then want the Bengals to get the win here because as you can see, look at how it changes. If the Steelers were to win, the Bengals would be out of the playoffs. The Colts would be in, but the Bills would be the 6th seed. Now, the Bills would still be in the playoffs, but they'd be the 7th seed in this scenario if the Bengals win, which I actually think the Bengals are going to win. I think that is actually the more likely scenario, especially because their defense is starting to get kind of banged up too, and they're going to be missing guys. So, anyway, so there you have it. So I don't want to harp too much on this, but as you can see, this is how things go, right? This is how, these little tiny nuanced differences make a difference. Anyway, so let's see. Now, Cleveland's already in, and let's see. The Texans are at 8-6. Cleveland's at 9-5. So overall, we actually would hope that the Texans could get this win and not the Browns. Now, the reason for that is because, as you can see, the Texans are still currently ahead of the Bills. And so, I'm pretty sure, it says Buffalo. Hang on, let me see. Maybe it's tiebreakers. 6 seed, Cincinnati. Hang on. 6 seed. It doesn't say. Okay, so it doesn't tell me because I was going to say, look, as of right now, the Texans are ahead of the Bills, even though they have the same record, which means the Texans hold some kind of tiebreakers over the Bills as of right now. But looking at this, if the Bills and Texans were to win, the Texans, even though they both be tied, would not be ahead of them. So that tells me that there is some subtle difference, some subtle change in tiebreakers that would put the Bills ahead, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Colts. We want the Colts to win, and they should win that one. I don't know. Titans. Oh, if the Titans win, look at that. That changes it up. There you go. Okay. And hey, look, the Titans could beat the Seahawks. So it's got to be tiebreaker sort of things. Broncos should beat the Patriots. Let's see. Jags. I'll still take the Jags over the Bucks. I don't know, though. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Lions should beat the Vikings. I don't know. The Buccaneers are actually looking pretty good right now. Baker's playing pretty good. They're at home. The Jags might be without Lawrence. So let's go and say the Jags actually lose. That means Jags then fall out of the playoffs if the rest of the things go as and I think this is all realistic. I think the Bills will win. I don't know. Maybe CJ Stroud's back. This one actually could go the other way. But let's leave it there for now because I think maybe CJ Stroud will be back. Commanders should get the win over the Jets. And it is a home game for them. DeMeco Ryans has that team playing well. Their defense is solid. Let's go Green Bay. I know the Panthers just won, but I am actually taking San Francisco over the Ravens. I do think they should bounce back. The Eagles are on a 3-game losing streak, but they should win against the Giants. That doesn't really affect us. I do think the Ravens are going to lose to the Niners in San Francisco. Now, we absolutely kind of need them to lose that game because, well, we don't need them to lose that game, but it would certainly be helpful, obviously. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs are going to get the win, especially being in Arrowhead. I mean, you never know. This is a game that could be an upset. It wouldn't really help the Raiders' chance of getting in, but it would hurt the fucking Chiefs' chance of getting the number 1 seed, which would be huge. So obviously we're going to be rooting for the Raiders, although I'm pretty sure the Chiefs will win. I do think we're going to get the win over the Cowboys. I know they're a tough team, but look, this is going to be the first week, or this is going to be the week that the Dolphins do a couple things. One, they're going to dispel the notion that they can't beat a good team just in general when they beat the Cowboys. They're also going to secure themselves a playoff spot. And that's what's on the line this week in particular. Now, obviously, there are some overall, bigger picture things. Like if we were to lose, there is a chance we could miss out on the playoffs, right? Altogether. Now, that would mean we would also have to lose the next 3 games. So we would also have to lose against Baltimore and Buffalo. And Buffalo would also have to win out because then they could take over the division and then we could fall out of the playoffs. But I don't think that's going to happen. Dallas, they just got shellacked. Yeah, okay, they're fucking, going to be angry and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, bro, I think especially because we're going to be getting I think we're going to have at least Hill back, Holland, Howard, and Deshaun Elliott. I think all of those guys will be back. Okay. Which is phenomenal. I'm not so sure about Hunt, but that's fine. And I think we'll be good. I think we'll be good to go. Again, it's another home game. They're on the road. They just got fucking smashed. It's going to be their second road game in a row. I mean, look, at this point in the season, teams are basically who they are. You know what I'm saying? So you can expect that, the lack of a performance on the road. I mean, and we have a very good defense. We have a good home record and, we play better. There's all these factors. Now, they could certainly upset us, but I feel pretty confident going into this game, especially after our rebound. Let's just say Cardinals there, whatever. Okay, so as you can see, should everything play out as I put it, and these are These are, I think, overall pretty realistic. I mean, I would love to see the Jags win, but I actually think the Bucks will probably get that one, right? So I do think the Broncos will rebound and beat the Patriots. All of this is fair, right? Okay, so if this all plays out, Baltimore, look, and this one's huge. Oh no, never mind. That didn't do anything. I thought maybe that would push Buffalo in. But anyway, if all this plays out, and I think this is all pretty reasonable, Baltimore would still be the number one seed. Let's see. And the tiebreakers would be over Miami. Strength of victory would be it. So barely, not even conference. That means we would actually have them beat. Or no. That means we would be tied in conference, and strength of victory would then come into play. Anyway, so they would remain the number one seed after this week. Basically, no matter what. So it just kind of is what it is, right? We would remain the number, or we will remain the number two seed. So this is how it'll play out. Unless, or no, that's even, now obviously if the Ravens win, then they would remain the number one seed. We'll come back to that in a minute afterwards, because I actually will want to show you what will happen should the Ravens win, and then if we beat them the following week, dropping them to 12-4, us being 12-4. I mean, the obvious is then we would have the head-to-head tiebreaker and we would jump them. But I'll show you that when we get there. I actually do think the Niners are going to beat them. All right, moving on. So, Browns should beat the Jets. Let's say Cowboys are back at home. I think I'll take them over the Lions. They'll be at home. Okay, so we're going to go with the Dolphins win. Obviously, if Baltimore wins... Wait. What happened? What is going on? Why isn't it... Oh, there we go. Obviously, if Baltimore wins, they would not only have a better record than us, but they would also have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So we know that. That's obvious. That's not the point of this. The point of this is not only trying to find the Dolphins' path to the playoffs, but also that number one seed. So we're going to go with that. Bills, like I said, should end up beating the Patriots. For now, that puts them in. Sure. Colts, I think, will win at home. Jags should at least beat the Panthers. Let's say Texans at home over the Titans. Broncos over Chargers at home. I would say this one is actually really interesting. And Jake Browning, man, let's say he wins that. Let's say they get that one. Let's say they actually do upset the Chiefs in Arrowhead. And it's possible because this Chiefs team, man, they just rough. I mean, I know they won, but they beat the Patriots. And, San Francisco should win there. This one's a toss-up. I'm just going to say Steelers because I want them to win, and I think somehow, this is a game that Mike Tomlin could find a way to win. Let's go Bucks there at home. Let's say Eagles, and let's say Rams. Okay, so this is all relatively reasonable. Obviously, let's see the difference here. If the Chiefs... God damn it. Okay, so as is... Miami would be the number one seed at 12-4. Baltimore would be 11-5, obviously, because we would give them their fifth loss. And then we would also have the head-to-head tiebreaker. Chiefs would be 10-6. Colts in the fourth seed at 10-6. Houston at 10-6 at fifth. All these teams at 10-6. But Cleveland and then Cincinnati to round out. Okay, are you going to change? Change. Why isn't it changing? That's annoying. Hang on. Change. That changed it. Okay. Why isn't it changing? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make, ultimately, I don't know why it's not changing like I want it to. Okay, so that goes... Okay, whatever. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make, and I'm pretty sure I'm right here, even though it's not changing for some reason, is that obviously KC would go up to 11-5 instead of 10-6, but they would still, I think, remain the 3 seed, and I think that would bump Buffalo up because then they would be, shit. So they would be what, 9-5 or 9-6 rather? No. Whatever. 9-7 or something. No, I don't know. Whatever. My point is the Bills should jump. I just don't know why. You know what? Fuck it. Let's give it a quick refresh. What happened? Question now is what happened? It took me back. God damn it. Okay, so Rams, Bengals, Bills, Texans, Titans, Colts, bam, 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 bam. No, I think I took Kyler Murray there. Shit. Okay, so it took me back. God damn it. Now I have to redo these. That's fine. Bam, 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 bam. Whatever. Go, go, go. We said that, and that, and that. All right. 10-6. So yeah, but they would be 9-7. Okay, so there it goes. If the Chiefs win, okay, they actually would bump up to the number 2 seed, and that would bump Buffalo into the 7th seed. Sorry about that little bit, but for some reason, as you can see, it wasn't. So that's huge, right? So we obviously would need Cincinnati, and it's possible. They could definitely get that. All right, week 18, but let's say it's like that, and then we go to week 18, let's say, I don't know, whatever. Ravens should win that. Let's say Bucks. Let's give them the edge there. I would drop Cleveland one. Now, I mean, things can change, right? So that, let's see. Let's say Colts, Chiefs over, let's say Bam. Let's say Jags, San Francisco, Eagles. It's getting hard to even tell at this point. Let's say Jets, us over Buffalo, and Broncos. Okay. So if all that plays out, then you can see Miami number 1 seed, Chiefs, Ravens, Colts, Browns, Broncos, Cincinnati. Now let's say Titans. Okay, still no Bills. Let's say this goes differently. Did it change anything? It didn't change anything. God damn it. I don't know why it's not changing anything, because I'm trying to see these different fucking, let's say the Bills win. That would drop Miami in the last week of the season, or last week of the season, drop Miami to number 2 and the Bills up. Okay, let's put that back. It's not changing again for some fucking reason. Okay, so then Miami back up there. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, whatever. It is what it is. For some reason, this thing's being weird right now, and I'm not going to just sit here and waste time trying to figure it out and refresh it and blah, blah, blah. That's good enough for now. Obviously, I mean, there are lots of little ways that this can change. And who knows, you know, I mean, the crazy thing is like, right, so injuries are one thing, right? Like, the Bengals, for example. When Burrow went down, you thought maybe they were washed. But then Browning comes in, starts playing really well. Jags, you know, they've fallen off, and now Lawrence is hurt. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can change it or whatever. I think this is all pretty realistic overall, and I think this is, you know, could certainly happen and could certainly play out. Now, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for us, for sure. And there are lots of permeations that, you know, could come to fruition. Lots of different permeations of how this could all play out. And this is why we do it each and every week, because we like to see how things change up and whatnot. But in this case, and we would, if everything plays out like I have it, and then it comes down to week 18, we could honestly be in a situation where we're not only playing for the number 1 seed, as you saw the change there, but also playing to keep Buffalo out of the playoffs altogether. And honestly, at this point, especially since they did beat Dallas, I think that very well could end up being the case. I think it could come down to that last week of the season, right? So right now, the Dolphins, if they win this week against Dallas, they secure a playoff spot. And they dispel the narrative that they can't beat a good team. If they win next week against Baltimore after that, then They dispel the narrative that they can't beat a good team on the road, as well as secure the division. So they will have secured a playoff spot and secure the division, thereby not allowing the Bills to overtake us, even if they were to win that last game of the season, right? Then, if we beat the Bills in Week 18, we secure the number 1 seed, first round bye, and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, as well as also potentially eliminating the Buffalo Bills from playoff contention altogether. So at this point, look, the Dolphins have never been in a better situation, not in my lifetime, not that I can remember, not over the past 2+ decades. They've never been in a better situation. It's fucking beautiful. It's gorgeous. We love it. It's amazing. They obviously they control their own destiny and they need to take care of business. It's a tough stretch, but they can absolutely do it. So I'm super excited. I just can't wait for Sunday because I need this game similar to this past week. I mean, these games just get bigger and bigger and bigger every week. And the fact of the matter is I'm going to feel the same way every week. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I felt this past week. I needed Sunday to come and go so that way I could see how we react. How this team comes out after losing to the Titans, in a heartbreaker, falling apart kind of at the end there and whatnot on both sides of the ball. Obviously, all the injuries and all this, that, and the other. It could be a potential trap game against the Jets, right? They have a good defense. Is our offense going to be able to operate? Hill didn't play. All these different things, right? And they came out, and not only did they take care of business, but they did it resoundingly. And they gave me, they rebuilt my confidence. I mean, I wasn't shook yet after that loss. And it's like I said, I wasn't ready. It's like I told you guys, wait and see what happens this upcoming week. And they did everything they needed to do. So I feel good about going into this game against Dallas this week, but I just need Sunday to get here so we can see it. I need us to fucking get to Sunday, have Sunday come and go. We're in the middle window too, by the way. We're not the early window of games. We're in the middle window. We're not the Sunday night game either. I think we play at 1:25 p.m. my time, which would be 4:25 Eastern because I'm Pacific time. Anyway, so now, I just need this upcoming week so that way we can get what are we at? We're at 10-4 right now. So that way we can get to 11-4 and secure a motherfucking playoff spot and dispel that narrative that we can't beat a good team, right? I'm ready for that to be just a reality. And then when that's a reality, I'm going to be ready for the next one. Beat the Ravens on the road, dispelling even more narratives, get to 12-4 and secure the division, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I know a lot of Dolphins fans are like, well, at this point, if we don't, even if we get the number 1 seed and then we lose in the first round, in the divisional round, that would be a failed season to me. I actually disagree with that because to me first of all, when was the last time the Dolphins got the number 1 seed, right? It would be 2 back-to-back winning seasons for this team and this regime. It would be the number 1 seed. It would be progress from last year. It'd be a higher win total and the number 1 seed. We will have earned a first round bye, which basically is a playoff win to me. Not exactly. Don't fucking take that out of context and shit. I know it's not exactly the same thing, but kind of. Because at the end of the day, while we're sitting at home resting in that first week and everybody else plays, there are going to be a handful of teams that win, a handful of teams that lose, but we will win. Just by not having to play at all and getting to rest guys, right? And then, of course, home field advantage. That would be a win to me, even if we lost in the divisional round. Because here's another example, right? If we were to, let's say we don't win the division, or even if we win the division, but we don't get the number 1 seed, let's say we make it to that first round, the wild card round, and then win that game. So we have a playoff win, which I would be satisfied with, even if we, whether or not we win the division, but, we make it to the wild card round. Now, not winning the division at this point certainly would be a disappointment. But if we made it to the wild card round and still won a playoff game, I could forgive it. And I'd still be all right with it. If we win the division, win a wild card round game, and then lose in the divisional round, well, that's kind of the same thing as getting the number 1 seed and then losing in the divisional round. So there's layers to it. There's kind of nuance to it. I'd be fine with a number of those. For me, as long as it's progress from last year. Now, the one other thing and the caveat that I will add that a lot of people will say is yeah, but we have a ton of cap space problems for next year and we're not going to be able to bring everybody back. This is our window, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't disagree with that necessarily, but I also would say that the pushback I would give is it depends on how this team is built over the next few years. You know what I'm saying? And it depends on how this organization handles things going forward. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they're going to handle things properly and continue to build this team properly. Obviously, though, that remains to be seen, and we're in the here and now. So I get it, and I'm with you. Let's just take care of business so we don't have to worry about none of that bullshit. Let's start with this week. Let's get a win over Dallas at home in Miami. Okay? Let's dispel one of our narratives. Let's get to 11-4 and at the very least secure a playoff spot. So that is one little bit of sweat we can wipe off our brow. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll worry about next week when we get there. And then if we win next week, we can wrap up the division, get to 12 wins, and wipe a little bit more sweat off of our brow. You feel me? And that's one of the awesome things too about that situation and about this. Just take care of your own business, control your own destiny, and just keep winning is because if every week it's a 1 week time, it's a 1 week thing, 1 week at a time. You win this week, and we're at the point now where it's elimination games, even though we're not actually in the playoffs. Every week that you win, you can wipe a little bit more sweat off your brow. Because it's one more thing that you checked off, one more box. It's one more win right now. It's one more win in the regular season. It's one more narrative dispelled, and it's one more positive step towards the ultimate goal, and one more thing in the fucking record books and in the history books. You feel me? So anyway, lots of good things coming. I feel, and I'm positive and optimistic about where this team is headed and where they're going to go. I feel very good about this upcoming week. But like I said, I just need Sunday to get here. But anyway, that is going to wrap this up. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective, like my videos and my takes. If you do, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave comments down in the comments section, share my channel and videos with friends and family and all that good stuff. Helps to grow the channel, which I am very much trying to do. And with that, I'm out. I will see you guys soon. Love you guys. Appreciate you. And fins up all day, every day, baby. Let's go.
Miami wins it.